Let's have a look at phonics now in the IDSR. Now in 2017, the phonics analysis was like this: a blue bar representing your school and a national bar representing the national average for all pupils by the end of year 1 or by the end of year 2. This has now been replaced with a slightly more complicated looking graph. So let's have a look and see what it is. First of all, we have the number of marks obtained, 32 being the expected standard out of 40 words decoded. The national average is this red line, and it has been rebased on the number of cohorts, so we start at 42 in this case, in your school. Your school is this blue line, so it's a lighter blue line, becoming a bit darker when we get to the 32 words. So what can we draw out of this? Why did Ofsted make the change? Well, it looks like Ofsted wishes to do a more detailed analysis of phonics. It's not simply how did you do at 32 words or more, now it's how did you do at 10 words, 20 words, 35 words. So in this school, we were roughly at the national average for 5 words, and then this gap occurred, and then we got a gap at 10, 15 words, getting a bit wider as well. And that gap really is maintained all the way to 32 words. And in fact, it's maintained almost all the way to the end. So what Ofsted is doing is not just looking at the pass or fail mark, it's now looking at a more nuanced view. It also has an analysis at the top. In 2018, 69% of pupils in year 1 achieved the expected standard, and it says how much that is below or above the national average. This was or not a statistically significant difference. Now, whether it is statistically significant depends on your cohort size. So I have seen 13% difference be not statistically significant, and I've seen 11% be statistically significant. So bigger schools, the smaller the number of marks you would have to be statistically significant. Now, on the front page of Areas to Investigate for phonics, there are 3 different indicators. The first indicator is, has 90% or more pupils met the phonics expected standard, the national average being 82.5% in 2018. Did fewer than 70% of pupils meet the expected standard? So that is the national average minus 10% and then round down. This third area to investigate, the average mark of pupils not meeting the phonics expected standard in year 1 was X, and I've seen figures as low as 4 and as high as 25. And it is unclear to me what importance Ofsted make of this particular statement, if any. It is here for the 2nd year, and I have not actually seen it being referred to in any of the Ofsted inspection reports. So for instance, if that number was 4, well, how this number is calculated is we take all of your pupils who have scored between 0 and 40, we get rid of all the pupils who have passed, so between 32 and 40. We discount any pupils who are absent or didn't take the test, an A or D assessment. And then we take the mean average mark of all of those that remain. So the theoretical minimum is 0, maximum is 31. As I've seen as low as 4 and 25. Now this comment will only come up if you have more than 10 pupils not passing the standard. So for me, this will only come up if you are a bigger school. If you're a small school, if you have got, say, 30 pupils in year 1, then if 11 pupils didn't pass, well, that means that you had a pass rate of 67% or less, so you would get this, which is much more worse, this fewer than 70% of pupils. But so if you're a bigger school, what does, say, an average mark of 4, 5, 7 say? It says that you have got a particularly challenging cohort, probably SEN, lots of pupils getting 0s and 1s. What would it say if you had an average mark of 25? Well, for me, That would show that you are administering the test fairly. So you're getting lots of pupils with 29, 30, 31. So I have not actually seen this referred to in any of the Ofsted inspection reports. I am unclear as to any weight that Ofsted might put on it, but now they have this new analysis, they might use the new analysis as a springboard for if this statement happens. So in other words, if the average mark of pupils is 4, they'll have a look at the previous graph and go, how does this actually translate? Let's discuss. And similarly, if the average is 25, you'll probably see your red line at or about the national average, maybe even a bit above it if you're a really big school. So if you do have this comment, have a look at it, but I would be more concerned if you had either the first or the second comments. And that's it. There's nothing there about average number of words, nothing there about the percentage of pupils passing by the end of year 2. That was there in 2016. It got removed in 2017 and isn't back in 2018. So you might want to have a look at your last few years of phonics results and see what they tell you. And then we'll have a look at the points to ponder. Here are some points to ponder about phonics from official Ofsted documents. How did you do? Was it above national figures? Was it rising? How did the attainment of your disadvantaged pupils compare to the national non-disadvantaged? How did attainment vary between groups of pupils? Now I like this question. How did the phonics marks in year 2 compared with those in year 1 for pupils who didn't pass in year 1? Now, the reason I like it is this. Suppose you got a pupil in year 1 who didn't pass, but got 4 words decoded. And then in year 2, still didn't pass, but got 16 words decoded. Well, even though he didn't pass in either year, he did make progress from 4 to 16. So that shows an element of progress. What strategies are in place to help pupils who didn't pass? Another thing that I'm seeing a bit in Ofsted inspection reports, they're comparing year 1 phonics with early years reading with key stage 1 reading. And it seems that under the 2019 framework, there is going to be a greater emphasis on reading. So the way I do it is have a look at the 2016 early years results compared to the phonics at year 1 in 2017 compared to key stage 1 reading in 2018. And what I've seen some Ofsted inspectors do is compare the gap from national, because obviously early years reading and year 1 phonics and key stage 1 reading are looking at different skills. So what I've seen inspectors do is have a look at the national gap and see how that has changed from year to year to year. You can also do it for just 2018. Have a look at early years 2018, year 1 phonics 2018 and key stage 1 reading in 2018. Although that is not with the same cohort. I preferred using exactly the same pupils in 2016, a year later in 2017 and a year later in 2018. How does this look for all pupils and for disadvantaged pupils? Are there any patterns of groups who didn't consistently reach the level? Notice the word consistently, so not just one-offs. What additional support are there when you get to the junior phase for any year 3 pupils who didn't achieve the level required? Have SEN or other factors been explored? And not just explored, have there been any assessments? Have there been any measures made? Now, what is the evidence of the monitoring the quality of phonics and reading, not just in Key Stage 1, but also in Key Stage 2? However, you'll note in the Ofsted myths that they do not require complete evidence in writing for things like hearing pupils read. They expect to see some evidence, but for instance, Ofsted doesn't expect to see photographic evidence of pupils' work. It doesn't require schools to undertake a specified amount of lesson observation and so forth. So if you are interested in this, then just Google the words Ofsted myths and you can see the 7 things that Ofsted want debunking. Is there a consistent approach to the delivery of phonics in Year 2? Is it tailored towards engaging all pupils and raising their performance? Now, this is Ofsted terminology. Do enough disadvantaged pupils attain Year 1 and by the end of Year 2? In other words, how does it compare with the national other? How? How is pupil premium funding being used to support these pupils? And what interventions and support are in place for disadvantaged pupils who didn't pass at the end of Key Stage 1? So those are some points to ponder for phonics. In the next video, we'll have a look at Key Stage 1. Thank you very much for watching this video. Why not like us and subscribe to this channel? And why not subscribe to our free premium mailing list, where you can get 10% off our best prices and advance notice on what's happening.